Lessons in Love, a journey through biblical parables. The parable of the Good Samaritan. On one occasion, an expert in the law stood up to test Jesus. "Teacher," he asked, "what must I do to inherit eternal life?" "What is written in the law?" he replied. "How do you read it?" He answered, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your strength, and with all your mind, and love your neighbor as yourself." "You have answered correctly," Jesus replied. "Do this, and you will live." But he wanted to justify himself, so he asked Jesus, "And who is my neighbor?" In reply, Jesus said, "A man was going down from Jerusalem to Jericho when he was attacked by robbers. They stripped him of his clothes, beat him, and went away, leaving him half dead. A priest happened to be going down the same road, and when he saw the man, he passed by on the other side. So too, a Levite, when he came to the place and saw him, passed by on the other side. But a Samaritan, as he traveled, came where the man was, and when he saw him, he took pity on him. He went to him and bandaged his wounds, pouring on oil and wine. Then he put the man on his own donkey, brought him to an inn, and took care of him. The next day he took out 2 denarii and gave them to the innkeeper. "Look after him," he said, "and when I return, I will reimburse you for any extra expense you may have." Which of these 3 do you think was a neighbor to the man who fell into the hands of robbers? The expert in the law replied, "The one who had mercy on him." Jesus told him, "Go and do likewise." This story teaches us that love and kindness have no limits. The Samaritan, who was not liked by others, showed that real love is about helping anyone in need, no matter who they are. Jesus' message is clear. It doesn't matter who you are, but what you do. Loving your neighbor means caring for anyone who needs help. Jesus said, "Go and do the same." Now, some interesting details about the parable. The relationship between Samaritans and Jews. In Jesus' time, Jews and Samaritans did not like each other. They had different beliefs and often avoided one another. So, when Jesus made the Samaritan the hero of this story, it was a big surprise. It showed that love and kindness are more important than who you are or where you come from. Jesus wanted to teach that anyone can be a good neighbor, no matter their background. The dangerous road from Jerusalem to Jericho. The road from Jerusalem to Jericho was known for being dangerous. It was a steep, winding path where robbers often hid, waiting to attack travelers. It was even called the Way of Blood because of how many were harmed there. Most people were afraid to walk alone. Despite knowing the risks, the Samaritan still chose to stop, and help the injured man. His courage shows that true kindness is helping others, even when it's hard or dangerous. Why oil and wine were used? In the story, the Samaritan uses oil and wine to treat the man's wounds. In those days, oil and wine were used as medicine. The oil helped to soothe the pain, and the wine acted like a disinfectant to clean the cuts. This shows that the Samaritan didn't just help a little, he took time to care for the man in the best way he could, even using his own supplies. 2 coins for the innkeeper. The Samaritan also gave the innkeeper 2 silver coins denarii, which was a lot of money for that time. It was enough to cover several days of care for the injured man. This shows how much the Samaritan was willing to give, not just in time and effort, but also in money, to help a complete stranger.